So we will need 2 blocks today. So if you can grab those 2 blocks, that would be great. And so take your time for those of you just doing the recording. And then I'm just going to demonstrate one thing. We're gonna review a few of the upper body myofascial things that we did last week. And then we'll work into some standing. We're going to do moon salutation, which we've done in the past. But the only thing I want to demonstrate, I'm going to give you the option if you want to try this with your block. If it doesn't feel good to you, then obviously you can skip it. We will be using 2 blocks, and you could even have them on this end, or you could have them flat if you wanted to. But we'll come into, an extended child's pose. And what we're going to do is come forward into a modified upward dog. But what I want you to think about is using the blocks. And again, it can be this height too. Just make sure you feel stable in them. When you lift up, your head drops, you activate the core, and you start drawing up from the pubic bone like we've talked about before. And then you lean forward, you roll the shoulders back, you push down, and you lift up from the chest. And then you'll drop your head, pull your belly in, and come back out of it. So again, the blocks can be at this height if that feels more solid to you. But if you think about it, oftentimes we can pull forward and we just kind of have our belly sort of sloppy and we drop into it, right? And what we're trying to do is have it very controlled, pulled up from the belly, pubic bone moves forward, the shoulders drop toward the heart, pressing down and lifting. And if that isn't comfortable to you, of course, you can always just do table. So just a variation for you. So in the meantime, I think the rest of it you'll get as we go along. So let's go ahead and get started. You can take whatever movement. Hi, Green, I see that you're on too. Someone has iPad on, but I don't know who it is, but hi to you too. Don't have a name on it. But anyway, as you guys get settled, and gals, take whatever movement you feel like your body needs. Start bringing that blood flow into the body. And then let's let our awareness also just be aware of the sounds that are around us so that we can begin to adjust ourselves to not be triggered by those sounds, but we can just allow them to be there. Think of the ones that are the furthest out from you until the ones that are the closest to you. And let's just notice how our clothing is touching our skin. Notice the temperature in your room. And I invite you just to let your awareness come completely inward by bringing your conscious attention to the base of your head and your neck. Allow that chin to soften. Again, if you're seated, it's going to be parallel. And then gently draw the chin in towards your throat. Our intention is just to create a softness. And when you feel that softness in the neck, can you allow your shoulders just to gently soften down toward the heart? Allow your awareness just to move down through the throat, through the notch in the throat, and just rest at the heart center. Just noticing how you feel today. What is the energy that you have right now? And when you take an exhalation, just let go of any busyness, any worries, concerns, resentments, any little triggers that might be happening for you. And as you take an inhalation, just set the intention to allow yourself to soften. Even feel your jaw soften, the space in between your eyebrows, the space behind the heart center. And bring your awareness down to your navel. And as you're continuing to follow the breath, feel the lift of the belly with each inhalation and the contraction toward the spine with each exhalation. So we're just keeping that diaphragmatic breath for right now. Even though you're focusing on this diaphragmatic breath, can you keep this feeling of softness and allow that to even become a sense of peace? And let's just invite this breath now to deepen and move into Dir Shwasam. So if you take a nice slow exhalation, and on your next inhale, let that belly release out, then let it come up into the rib cage and up and behind the collarbones, and then allow everything to just wave back down till lastly you can feel that navel drawing in. So just following that wave-like effect of your breath as it gently rolls into the body, and it just very gently rolls back out. Notice the breath passing over the back of your throat, and go ahead and create your Ujjayi breath, that ocean sound in the back of your throat. Now, throughout this session, we've talked about using the saw as you inhale and the ha as you exhale, of course, if you prefer, or even the so and the hum. We even did the external sound of hum each time we exhale. So I want you just to take a minute and pick which one resonates with you the most. And go ahead and use that one while we work on just deepening the duration of the exhalation. And just allowing the inhale to come in naturally and deepen and allow the rib cage to expand out into the back body. Now perhaps if you've chosen the external hum right now, you might want to change that now as we move into Nadi Shodhana and find another breath sound that you can relate to with your Ujjayi breath, whichever one it is. And we're going to take a nice full exhalation and just close off our right nostril with our right thumb. And just inhale through your left nostril only. And of course, you don't really need to use any Ujjayi breath here. As you exhale, just allow that breath to come out that right side, just at your rhythm of breath. Sorry, I meant to tell you to close off your nostril. And then when you're ready, you're going to breathe back in through your right side. When you finish breathing in through the right side, of course, close off with your thumb and let that exhale come back out the left. So you find yourself completing your round. And then, of course, when you go to start up again, see if you can feel the coolness in the back of the nasal passage and then that gentle pause at the end of the inhale. And same thing as you come over to the exhalation. Maybe you feel the warmth of the breath, but definitely notice the gentle pause. Just let yourself float from side to side, not rushing the breath in any way. Keeping your elbows soft, and of course, if you like placing your middle finger and your pointer finger at the space in between your eyebrows, you're welcome to do that. Just notice that the intention, of course, is to bring a state of harmony, to reconnect the body into a state of homeostasis with the breath, the heart rhythm, the mind, the emotions. When you find yourself ready to take an exhalation out your left nostril the next time, so if you're just starting around, let yourself finish. No hurry. When you get to that side where you take that exhalation out the left, just let your hand float down. Find yourself just letting go of any control of your breath. Softening the shoulders, standing back like a witness, and just noticing the rhythm of the breath. Noticing the after effects of your breath. Allow your breath to be your guide today. And excuse my congestion in my voice. I'm still getting over a cold that decided to be shared by my husband. So let's go ahead and bring ourselves to seated for those of you that are on your back. We will all just stack our shoulders and realign those shoulders over our hips and extend our arms out. You can have your legs in Sukhasana or whatever position feels best to you. I invite you just to exhale and let your awareness drop down all the way to your sit bones, and then turn your palms up and inhale and lift the arms as high up as you can until the hands come back together in Anjali Mudra. And then exhale and draw them back to your heart center and allow your chin to soften down without your chest collapsing. And then go ahead and do that again. I forgot my clip. When you come down the second time, just pause with your hands at your heart center. Your chin maybe is rested down. Take another deep breath in, and we're going to exhale and bring those hands out in front of us. Bring the back of the wrist together, pull your belly in, let your chin drop down, making that C shape. And then inhale, flex your wrist, lift the chest, and then reach way back. Maybe the chin lifts, drop the shoulders down. And as you go to exhale, feel the belly draw in. Think of that you're just expanding through the entire back body. And of course, just the opposite as you're coming forward. You're expanding through the whole front of the spine. Now I'm going to invite you, when you end up exhaling forward this next time and your wrists come together, then just place your hands on the floor and gently walk yourself out. Try not to really push yourself, just find a comfortable place and start to breathe there. If your body starts to release, where you can come a little closer down into the mat, closer into your legs, go right ahead. If the arms begin to extend out further, fine. If your head can drop in, I'm going to keep my head up today because of the congestion that I have. But if it feels right to you to drop your head in, then go ahead and do that. And then find that connection with your breath. You're only at a soft edge. You're not trying to overly push. Let the breath expand through the back body as you take your inhales. And feel it hollowing out from the navel to the pubic bone as you're exhaling. deep breath in and let yourself have that exhale. And then I'm going to invite you to come on up into table. So we're going to go through a few of those myofascial releases that we did last week. So you can have your knees, when you get into your table, a little bit wider than your hips if you'd like. We're going to take our forearms down onto the floor so our elbows are underneath our shoulders. And remember, we want to be sure we're not slouching into our low back. So we just gently draw the low rib cage up. Now, push down into your arms and pull them back towards your body. And as you exhale, keep that engagement and extend the hips back. Doesn't have to be real far. When you're ready, you're just going to inhale and release. And you can adjust your knees. I need my knees back a little bit further. Engage, and as you exhale, pull the rib cage a little bit in so you're not arching. And then find that place of release. So the biggest thing here, as we were talking about last week, is to remember to hold that engagement. You can feel your whole upper body kind of tightening as you begin to draw back, extending through that myofascial tissue up through the shoulders, but it's also impacting all the way down through the low back. Now, when you end up inhaling forward your next time, take your time wherever you are. You're going to walk your arms over to your left side. So now our emphasis is going to be on the right side of the body. So make sure you lift up your rib cage, activate your arms, pulling them back towards you, and then draw back with your exhale, sinking in to whatever degree feels okay to you. And then just release. The nice thing is when we release the myofascial tissue, we're affecting all the body. So it isn't just the upper body, even though we feel the emphasis there right now, it's affecting, it all is connected. Now, when you come back your next time and you go to inhale forward, gently move your arms over now to your right side. Use my nose. Engage when you're ready. Make sure you gently lift the rib cage. You're not rounding through the back. You're just being mindful that you don't have a sway in the back. And notice this side compared to the other. It's like you can use that gentle pause of your breath as you re-engage and then release into that exhale. Now, go ahead and pull back one more time. When you come forward this next time, I do believe we did this last week, we're going to take our arms in where they're together and the palms will be turned up. So the back of the arms are on the floor and they're in the center of our chest. And the same thing here. When you're ready, draw the arms back, really feel the activation. And now we're going to lean our left ear over to the left as we turn our head toward the right shoulder, leaning over as far over as you feel comfortable, and then you'll inhale back and soften. You'll reactivate, and as you exhale, lower the right ear over as you turn toward the left shoulder. So you're stretching all the myofascial on the outside of the shoulder here. Only go to where you feel okay. So I'd like you to take your time because everybody's different. When you end up with your right ear down toward the mat and you come back up, just slide back into a child's pose for a moment. Stack your fists. Let your forehead just rest on your fists for a moment. Soften the shoulders. Full deep breaths. We're going to take one more full inhale. When you're ready to exhale, just activate your core. We're going to press up into table now, but with our knees directly underneath our hips. We're going to have our hands spread wide like we typically would underneath the shoulders, and we're going to work our core here and our back. So I'd like you just to take a nice inhale, and as you go to exhale, pull your knee to your navel. Arch up and drop your head in and really hold there. Feel your core. Now, as you go to inhale, push your leg straight back and draw your shoulders down to your heart, extending through your collarbones, and then lift your chest and lift your legs. As you exhale, activate from the core. Pull in from the belly, round up. You're going to take a 2-count pause here. Very strong core. And then you're going to extend all the way straight out with that leg, straight through the collarbones. And at the end, lift the leg and lift the the chest, excuse me. So you notice I'm not using your left arm. However, for those of you who can take your left arm to your elbow to knee situation and extend the left arm out while you lift that leg, go ahead and do that. If that really takes away from you being able to activate your core and hold that in, then leave your hand down so that you can really focus on the core work here. I'm going to ask you to take one more exhale in, and we're going to let the left hand be on the floor and extend the right leg out, and then bring it over toward our left foot so that we can open up into Vastasana, arm balance. So you're going to try to open your right hip, maybe draw the right shoulder on top of the left, maybe the arm can extend. Maybe the leg comes up. Now remember, since you have your 2 blocks there, if this is challenging, you can put the block in front of you in order to help you get your shoulders stacked and lift your leg, if you would like. Your drishti can be down to the floor. If it's easier, it's usually easier on the neck. Feel as though you're opening your heart up toward the ceiling as best you can. And take one more deep breath in. As you exhale, let your foot come down if it's up. Let your hand come down. And we're going to move to the other side. If you need a break, take your wrist break or whatever you might need. So let's first get ourselves in a neutral spine, being aware of the core here. Take an inhale, and as you go to exhale, pull the knee into the chest, the navel area, round up. Maybe the chin can drop in. Inhale and extend straight out, drop the shoulders, lift the leg, and then lift the chest. But activate from the core as soon as you go to exhale, and you're going to pause for a 2-count pause. Those of you who want to add the arm and can do that with still being able to do a 2-count pause and be very mindful of the core, then go ahead and add that. But if that's not available to you, the core engagement is what we're looking for here. after you take your next exhale in, we're going to move into our arm balance. So you'll let your right hand come down if it's up. Let your left leg now align with the right, and my back will be to you as I open up my left shoulder now toward the ceiling, right? And again, you can keep your hand at your waist. Think of first initiating the shoulders stacking on top of one another. That's the most important. And then if the leg can come up, great. If the arm extends, great. Find a place of comfort for your neck. And full, deep, mindful breaths, keeping that space between your eyebrows soft. Now, as you go to take your next exhale, just lower that leg. Let your left hand come down. And I'm going to invite you to find a table position and then grab your 2 blocks. So remember last week we brought our blocks, we're going to step our left leg forward. So we have our left leg forward, and you can slide your back knee back to what feels comfortable to you. We've got both of our blocks, whatever height you need. We're going to be flexing this foot. We're going to pull the foot toward the body. So we engage the hamstring here. And then we're going to let our hips just gently come back to whatever degree works for you as you take your exhale. And then you inhale and let yourself come forward. So what's important here is the activation of the hamstring, pulling back on the heel and trying to work toward a straight position. You're obviously not working to get it straight, but toward that position. And then gently releasing. And if you need padding underneath your back knee, your right one, of course, take your time to do that. And just be very mindful. You can keep your foot down if you feel you can engage better with the foot down, but normally flexing the foot and pulling the heel back towards you will get that engagement. And releasing these hamstrings has a huge effect on our back and on all of the area that comes down across the hip. Let's do one more exhalation here. When you end up coming back up, you're just going to switch legs. So you take your time. Get comfortable on your left knee. How far you can set that back depends on where your flexibility is. Be sure to flex your foot, and as you exhale, pull back with the heel and try to extend the hips back. That's where having the back leg, the back knee back behind you a little bit further helps, so that you're not sitting on your back heel. Excuse me. I'm going to take one more. Actually, we're going to do one more after this one, sorry. Goodness. After you've done that last one, keep your right foot forward and bring your blocks off to the side for a minute. So we're going to move into sun salutations. So align your back knee with your hip again. We're going to take your hands in Anjali Mudra, and as we inhale, we lift up and raise those hands as high as you can. Now, if you have a problem with balance, you can always keep your hands on top of your knee. If you're comfortable dropping your tailbone and lifting the chest up toward the ceiling, go ahead and do that. So this will be our inhale. As we exhale, we're going to come down and we're going to step that left foot forward. We're in a squatted type position. Hands will come back together in Anjali Mudra. We push through our heels as we inhale and come up, dropping the tailbone. Maybe you can slightly back bend, maybe not. And now as you exhale, you're going to come back down. Now we're going to place our right knee down on the floor. And when you're ready, you're going to inhale back up. So we're just alternating. We'll exhale back down, stepping that right leg forward. As we come up, we're in a squat. We push through our heels, so we're working the glutes here as well as strengthening our legs. And you'll come back down. You're going to alternate legs. So just find your rhythm of breath. Even if you have to pause to get yourself settled on your knee and you end up adding a breath, it's okay. These are moon salutations. Feel yourself press down into your feet and into your heels as you extend up. And be sure to activate the core as you come down. So I'm going to invite you, when you come down the next time, I'm not sure what leg you're going to be on, but we're actually going to step back into table. We're going to take our blocks again, and this time we're going to have our blocks in the center. You can have them this way or whatever way works for you. And we're going to step our leg out to the outside of our hip, and both legs are in the center. So from this position, you're going to pick up your foot, you're going to pull the heel back towards your body, and then you're going to try to extend. You'll feel a different group of myofascial tissue that you'll be working here, and then you'll just release forward. So each exhalation is a flex, pulling back, keeping that leg very activated, and then sinking through those hips. So just find how far back is okay with you. We're going to do one more. After you finish yours, take your time. Just let that leg come back. You might need to adjust your blocks over a little bit and bring your right leg up. So it's to more of the outer hip here. Once you're ready, pick up your foot, reactivate, and try extending that leg slowly back with your exhale. You can feel as you're flexing and you're extending this release that's happening all the way from your Achilles tendon through the calf and up into the groin, the inner thigh, the abductors. Now we're going to go to the abductors here in just a minute. So once you do your next release with your exhale, I'm going to invite you to bring yourself, I'm going to turn to my right, and I'm going to step my legs up like we did last week with the legs wide, and we have the baby toe and heels lined up. You can have your blocks all the way up. In fact, I encourage you to do that so that your back is nice and tall. So this is the one where we're going to, excuse me, pull our legs toward one another. So just try that. Keeping your feet down, draw the legs in and activate your inner thighs, your abductors, and then let go. Excuse me. Now, we're going to activate those, and then we're going to bend into our left knee just slightly while we keep that activation, and then we'll release. And then go ahead and do the other side. Excuse me. Hate to be coughing in your ear. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, once you come over to your right again, I'm going to invite you to have both legs straight and then go ahead and fold forward. You can use your blocks and set your forearms on your block. Let your head rest down. Your blocks can be completely flat or up high if that feels good to you. I'm going to keep my head up, obviously, but you can also just bend your knees and place your elbows or your hands on your knees. So you can modify this to whatever works for you. If you're able to hang all the way over, great. See if you can let your weight shift a little bit forward into your feet as you take your inhale and feel a little bit of an internal rotation of those inner thighs. And then as you exhale, have that feeling of just releasing all the way down through the spine, out the crown of your head. Now I'm going to invite all of you to just soften through your knees, take your hands to your waist, and as you inhale, lift up with a flat back. Let your chin soften down toward your chest. Keep your knees bent until you feel your shoulders stacked over your hips. And then step your feet into a Tadasana. Closing the eyes, rolling the shoulders back. Let your palms turn out. And just as you bring your awareness down through the body, just soften through your toes. Feel the ball mount of your big toe and your little toe and your heel. Good. So we're going to open our eyes, and I'm just going to move the blocks. Actually, if you can keep one block nearby, you won't need the other one. I'm going to turn to the end of my mat because we're going to step into Virabhadrasana 1 with the right foot back behind you. So whatever position you need to be on your mat, you want to make sure that your hips are squared off. And we're going to be working the upper back as we work through the glutes and the legs. So with your legs straight, go ahead and bend and make sure when you do bend that your knee doesn't go past your ankle, and otherwise make the adjustment you might need. Feel your back glute, because that's part of the holding yourself in Virabhadrasana 1. So let's straighten our leg, pick up your arms and cross them over your chest and just pause there and like you're giving yourself a hug. What I want you to feel here is the comfort in your back. So you don't want to feel like your shoulders are dropping back and you have any pressure in your low back or your mid back. So the shoulders are going to stay in line with your hips. You can feel the activation of your right glute, and you can feel the ball mount of your front big toe. So this will be our exhalation. So go ahead and take a nice exhale here. Now as you go to inhale, as you know before, drop the shoulders and then open the heart as you bend into the knees. And then as you exhale, pull the belly in, cross back over and let your head drop in. As you inhale, you're going to keep the elbows forward so the wrists and the elbows are in line with one another. And just move gently in and out. Inhale opens the heart. Exhale opens the back of the heart. Now, when you come forward your next time, pause and lift your arms straight up for your Virabhadrasana 1. Feel your extension from your back heel all the way up to the middle fingertips. Softening the shoulders. We're going to take another deep breath in. And then as we exhale, just let your arms come down. Let your leg straighten. We're going to pivot to the right. So you're going to take your foot and let it be parallel, and then we're going to take our front heel and line it up for Virabhadrasana 2 position. So front heel, but make sure your foot is straight, because that's, again, where we tend to make the biggest mistake. It's either turned like this and our knee comes out of alignment. Take one of your blocks and just have it in front of your foot area. So when we get to that, you'll have it there. So I want you to just go ahead and straighten your left leg. I want you to activate your inner thighs again. Now, as you keep that activation in that back leg, bend into this front knee and then release. Good. Again, bend into this front knee and then release. Okay, now we're going to come all the way into Virabhadrasana 2. Let your arms float out. Check your alignment here so you can see your big toe. We're going to cross our arms. We're going to have our back arm on the top. So if you bring your front arm in front of your chest, let your back arm come on the top and bend your elbows. So we want to allow our shoulders, keeping the left knee where it is, and allow our shoulders to twist slightly to the right. Maybe your hands come together, maybe not. You can softly close your eyes. If this feels too much in your shoulders in any way, just let go and let your arms be in Virabhadrasana 2. Can you soften your toes yet feel the ball mounts of your big toes? Take one more nice full inhalation and let yourself have an exhale. When you inhale again, lift the arms and straighten your leg. So we're going to come into triangle using a block and having a bent knee. So first, let's bend our front knee. And I want you just to place your hand on your front knee. And I want you to think of the alignment of your shoulders here. So they're stacked on top of one another. Extend your right arm out. So you're going to try to keep those shoulders stacked just like that. And you can kick your right heel out a little bit if it is more comfortable for you. Now, some of you, you may be able to slide your hand down on this block and open even further. So you have all this extension on both sides of the body. And we just took our hamstring out of it. Some of you might just have your elbow because it may be too much to get on the block. Now, those of you who can begin to straighten your leg, go ahead and straighten, but only to the point where both of your shoulders are still stacked. And look up and see that your arm is coming straight out of your shoulder, for those of you who can. Otherwise, you've got your hand just rested on your waist, but your shoulders might be stacked. Your knee can be partly bent. You want to keep a baby softness in that knee no matter what. Let your head just softly turn down toward the mat. Now, gently activate those inner thighs, the abductor muscles. They're very much involved in this asana, as well as your hamstrings. Then we're going to take another deep breath in. As you exhale, just let your right hand come down, soften through your front knee. Just pick up your block and come back to the center. So we're going to set our block to the other side because we're going to pivot all the way around and find Virabhadrasana 1 with our right forward now. So go ahead and bend and straighten until you feel comfortable in your foundation and that the hips are squared off. Now, if you'll straighten your front leg, let's give ourselves a hug. Pause here and take a nice exhalation. Now, as you inhale, open the heart center. Be aware of the elbows gently moving forward. As you exhale, be aware of the core fully engaging. Maybe your head can drop in when you can let your head drop, but not your chest. And be aware too, when you're doing your inhalation, that you're not creating a pinch in your upper back. Think of dropping the shoulders and just softly opening the chest. The next time you come forward, just pause and extend the arms. Soften the shoulders, the little baby fingers turn toward one another. You can feel the ball mount of your right big toe. And take another deep breath in. As we exhale, let's just let the hands come down, straighten our leg, and open up to the left. Find that alignment for Virabhadrasana 2. When you feel like you've got the alignment, then just do a couple here where you activate the inner thigh and then hold that activation as you're drawing the leg toward this opposite side, and bend the knee and then release. So before you go to bend, you activate like you're going to draw the legs together and bend in. It's a very isolated little movement. Good. Now this time, let's find that foundation. Make sure that your feet are where they need to be. Let your arms float out. We're going to allow the back hand to be on top. So we'll bring the front hand first, cross over the back, and lift. Allow the shoulders, if possible, to drift over to the left. So even though your left hip is rolling in toward the right, your shoulders are gently rolling over to the left. If that's comfortable and okay with your back. Find your breath. Soften the toes, yet feel the ball mounts of the toes. Notice the abductor muscles here. Might be getting a little tired. Let's take one more nice full inhale. Let ourselves have an exhale, and then inhale and lift and straighten. Alrighty, so let's take that block, move it in front, extend that left arm, bend into the right knee, let your hand just rest on the knee, and take a minute to feel where your rib cage is, your back muscles, and then see if it makes sense for you to put your hand down on that block. Can you keep the shoulders stacked? This side of my body, I find hip just needs that in order for me to fully extend. And then you can decide if you're able to begin to straighten that front leg or if you leave it bent. I want you to feel the extension on both sides of the body versus how straight your leg is. And if you find it easier to place that block back behind your leg and you can still keep your shoulder stacked, go ahead and do that. Let your head soften to some comfortable place. Usually that's down to the floor. You're going to take one more nice full inhale. As you exhale, just bend your knee, let your hand come down, your left hand. You can lift your block up. And then we're just going to bring both feet forward. You can take the block that you have, set it down in front of you if you like having the block, and just exhale and let your back come into neutral, into a wide leg forward fold. If you want to bring your hands all the way to your legs, you can. If you want to rest your forehead on the block, if you have that flexibility, go right ahead. I'm going to leave mine up because it just gets too congested. Slow, deep breath, letting the back just be in neutral for a minute. Going to take one more full inhale. When you go to exhale, work your way down to the mat until you're on your back. And we are release like we did last week, the T-band area in our outer hip here through our myofascial release. So if you'll have your knees bent and take a minute to let your shoulders just tuck underneath you down toward the heart, let them softly roll back, and let the hands just come down by your side for a minute. Let your chin soften in. Get the rhythm of your breath. So we're going to take that right ankle and place it on top of the left leg. Now, you can figure out where this is going to feel the best as far as pressing into your... We're going to take this right leg. We're not going to try to keep the right knee out like we do when we do our pigeon sort of a thing. Your knee can come in towards your body a bit. What I want you to do is keep your left foot on the floor for a minute. Push firmly your right leg into your left one. Even pull your pelvis back. Can you feel the activation of that right hip? And then just gently let go. That's what you're going to be looking for. So now we're going to bring that left knee into our chest and grab onto the back of that left leg. Now, push firmly into that leg. As you exhale, keep that firm tug and pull the leg in towards your chest. Let your belly draw in, and then you'll release when you're ready. As soon as you're ready to take your next exhalation, push firmly into activate the muscles of the right leg and draw that left knee in. Now we'll add on for those who can. If you lose this action, then don't add on. Push firmly, keep that action of pulling in, and as you pull in, lift your chin toward your shin and pull the belly in. And then softly let go. Now, one thing that will help to not tense up your neck, as you begin to lift your chin, drop the shoulders down toward your heart, and then let your chin move towards your shin. And softly release. But again, most important, the activation of that leg remains very active as you're pulling in. We're going to do one more. If you need a break, obviously listen to your body. When you are finished, set both of your feet on the floor. Let your knees softly, let your heels kind of kick out and your knees soften in toward each other so they're resting on one another. And just pause. Let your arms, the palms turn up, let your shoulders roll back, let your chin soften in. Slow your breath down. Okay, so let's realign our legs. Take our left leg up. So let's keep our right foot down for a minute and do the same thing as we did before. Push firmly now your left leg into your right one. Activate the muscles on that left side strongly, and then let go. That's what you're going to look for. Bring that right knee in. Whenever you're ready, activate, exhale, and pull, and keep that activation while you're pulling, and notice this side compared to the other side. Oh my goodness, this side's a lot tighter for me. And then we're going to release. Exhale, pull in. So just start with pulling the knee in without even lifting the head, so you know you really have that activation going. Then if you feel like you want to add the lift of the chest and the pulling in of the core, just keep your chin raised and the shoulders dropped down towards your heart. Remember to activate the legs so you don't miss that part. That's the most important. This is something that, like Barb, what you were saying about the T-band area, this is really working that T-band area. So if you feel tight in your hips, this is a great one to pause and do. Let's see if you can do one more. When you're ready, just let your feet come down, let your knees rest on each other again. See if you can turn your palms up. In fact, I'm going to invite you to slide your arms about halfway between your hips and your shoulders, just kind of widely opened. Let your heart center open, let your chin soften in, let your knees gently rest on each other. Now, if you'll let yourself have a nice full inhale, and as you exhale, bring your knees into your chest, place your hands on top of your kneecaps, exhale and pull in just gently for Apanasana, and inhale and let those knees just gently float away. And then you decide if you want to slide on into Happy Baby or if you want to stay in Apanasana. If you want to just rock your hips, what is it that you need to finish your practice so that you'll be ready for Shavasana? I'm going to adjust my lighting, and feel free. Also get my socks on and get cozy, which is what I invite you to do after moving the toxins and the tension and the energy through the body. Now we can settle in. We've released the mind of its habit pattern of thought. And I just invite you, when you go to settle the body in, let your feet just fall open. See if you can allow your shoulders just to soften back and down, and let your chin gently soften in. And then let's reconnect with the breath. So if you would just take an inhale with a silent so and draw your awareness up to the crown of your head. And then a silent hum all the way back down to the soles of your feet. Just back into the rhythm of the breath. The next time that you go to exhale down to your feet, just let go of any control of your breath. And just let yourself witness the wave-like effect of your breath. It gently rolls in and it gently rolls back out. You can allow the thoughts, if they come in, to just roll right by, letting your awareness come back to the breath. Excuse me. And just bring your awareness to the space in between your eyebrows. Let that area soften and broaden. Letting that softness just drift down to the notch in your throat. Letting your teeth separate. Letting the tongue softly move away from the roof of your mouth. Then slide your awareness out to the tops of your shoulders. And as you follow your next exhalation, just allow a wave of softness to come down the arms until it washes right into the palms of your hands and out through each one of your fingertips and your thumbs. Let your awareness just fall into the wave-like effect of your exhale. Knowing that with each exhalation, you're becoming more and more calm. I invite you just to drift your awareness to your heart center and let yourself float into the wave-like effect of your inhalation. And each time that breath rolls in, just imagine it's like warm, loving sunlight coming right through the center of your chest and expanding out into every cell of the body. As we move into that place of greater calm, there's a harmony that happens. And I just invite you to drift your conscious attention up to the crown of your head. And when you're ready to follow an exhalation, just allow a wave of peace to come down through the body until it washes right out the bottom of your feet. And you can just pause here, witnessing the breath and taking in this peace that resides here. Always, always here, just waiting for us to pause. Just going to invite you to notice any sense of greater ease or calm, peace, and know that the intention of our yoga, of course, is to impact the way that we live, right? Not just so much what is on our mat. And I just want to share this thought with you from Living Deeply, the Art and the Science of Transformative Life. This is from the Institute of Noetic Science. They do a lot of study on consciousness, but this is life as practice. It says, many teachers said that transformative practices are often misunderstood as prescriptions for being more spiritual, when in fact they're meant to provide a roadmap for life. At some point in the transformative process, you recognize that there's no difference between who you are in the pew or on the mat and who you are in the grocery store or on the freeway or at the office. The same mindful attention brought to the placement of your legs in a difficult yoga pose can be brought to a challenging conversation with your child. The same peace and joy brought to a beloved community of fellow practitioners can be brought to a PTA meeting. The same reverence that arises from spending 3 days in the wilderness on a vision quest can be brought to the clouds in the sky and the spindly trees in the mall parking lot. Engaging in daily mind, body, spiritual practices, finding a like-minded community, sprinkling simple reminders of your core values, which I think is really important, to really know your core values, your purpose, and your intentions throughout your environment, and taking time out from the hustle and bustle, manifesting your realization by giving them form and body in this world. So taking the time to notice what you value and taking time for it is this peace that we feel here in Shavasana is what we're trying to be more in the world. And being more comfortable in our bodies. We want to be more comfortable in our life. And it's hard to be in a good mental place when our bodies don't feel the best. So it's important to have all of that. So you can either remain right where you are, or you can come on up into your centering position if you would like. If you do come up, just feel your shoulders stacked over your hips. Let your chin just soften in towards your throat. And let's all just take a nice slow exhalation, just noticing how we feel physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And then one more time, let's turn our palms up. We're going to inhale, lift those arms on up till the hands come together in Anjali Mudra. Let's lower down to our forehead to remind us of mindful thoughts, at our mouth for mindful words, and our heart center for mindful actions. And namaste, everybody.